Good evening, everyone. We got to have a conversation. It's the premiere of the Devil Advocates podcast. And I have the Honorable Bilal Yogi with me in the studio, looking fresh and dandy and happy after yesterday's result, aren't we?
I'm sure we're going to get into this in depth.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. How are you doing, Bilal?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good. Thank you, Mick. How are you?
Well, I type in this domain www.confused.com. I don't know how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling. After yesterday, I was feeling angry. I went through all the emotions basically, and I looked at the overall team selection, the overall make it make sense. Like, you go up 2-0 and it seems like we put the reverse into the car and we reversed it to last season, and all of a sudden we conceded 2 goals, but silly mistakes, and then 3-2. And even if Harry Maguire scored, it didn't feel like it was justified. You know what I mean? So it's like I was more angry. It felt more like a loss and a dross. So that got me thinking. We got to play the devil's advocate, of course. But it got me thinking, Bilal. There's a lot of things going on in the media. Apparently, Inzaghi was offered the job but turned it down. To take over in the international break. Jim Ratcliffe has come out to spoken to BBC, making a quote saying that he's not his call. He's delegating to people that joined, basically Omar Barada, Dan Ashwood, and all them stuff. But at the end of the day, they invested a lot of money into this, and they want to be successful. What the quote is: our objective is very clear. What they say: we want to take Manchester United back to where it should be, and we are not there yet. Do you think, in your wildest dreams, after 3 years, Ten Hag can steer this ship and turn it around? I mean, if we look at what we have.
Mick, we've done. The thing is, we've done a lot of shows on this. We've had different opinion. You've stuck to your opinion, which is fair play, and I've stuck to my opinion. And my opinion since January last year was that this guy is not cut out for the job. Reason being, structurally, how he sets up the team causes problems. And last year, a lot of it he got away with because of injuries. People said he's got injuries, and then the FA Cup win. And I felt even at that point, I just couldn't see, even with the players coming back in, what they would do. And now everybody is kind of in agreement that this guy is prime example. Any player he signs, he makes them look worse from when he signed them. Delit's a prime example. Mazraoui is another example. And his structure setup is just not. He's out of his depth, and this should have been finished and ended in the summer. We should not have got to this point with him. And there's no way he can turn it around because he's not been able to turn it around for over 18 months. This has been happening since the Carabao Cup final. And like I said, people were saying it was because of injuries last season, but structurally, we could have N'Golo Kante, Roy Keane, Makelele in that midfield, and we still wouldn't be able to cover the ground because it's just not possible on what he's doing. And if we, for example, could see an improvement in play and could understand something the fans could get behind him, then yes, because nobody wants to get rid of the manager. But the facts are that it's the same problems being repeated again and again and again. And every team does the same thing to us. And it's not his fault, because I think he has reached his limit. And this is his limit. He cannot go any forward from this. And the people that are above should have been able to see this, that this is his level where he hangs. He doesn't have the answers to the problems. And at this level, you need answers. And unfortunately, he doesn't have them. And Ineos's big mistake was they should have removed him in the summer. And they didn't, because I said it last year, the one FA Cup win against City should not cover up what has happened. And you see it's this consistently of the same problems again and again and again. He just does not have the answers. And his the leadership team above him should be able to see that he's just out of his depth. He's struggling, and he shouldn't be put in this situation.
True. I mean, that's in a way that's what I'm saying in the beginning. I'm feeling like www.confused.com, but I also say that the players looks confused.com. They don't really know what to do, and he doesn't really know what to answer. Like, he's been put on the spot, and every media journalist is just laughing behind his back, like, what are you smoking? What are you delusional? Like, how can you defend this? Let's say start of this Premier League season. We are in September. Okay, August. We lost against Brighton 2-1. We had a 1-0 over Fulham. We had basically 2 wins in the Premier League. We got we started with the Community Shield, we lost on penalties. Okay, the Liverpool 3-0, Southampton 3-0, we won. Barnsley, of course, we had a goal fest, and that was it. He was saying we're not scoring goals, and all of a sudden we were scoring goals. Crystal Palace 0-0. Then it started 1-1 FC20. And yesterday's result was a lucky 3-3, where Harry Maguire came in and saved the job. So there's a lot of things which is confusing me as a fan, what I'm watching. What am I watching? Right? Of course, I want to be entertained. I want to see us watch good football. I want us to at least won that game yesterday. We should at least was FC20 game as well. Crystal Palace, we should have won as well. But there was this excuse, what they're saying, injuries, but now you have every single player on here, so you can't really have any more excuses.
Mick, so but also, if you look, Mick, the players he brings in, he makes them look worse.
Yeah.
He makes them look a lot worse.
Yeah.
They are basically players that are very good players to an extent. They're not terrible players, and when they come in, they actually look a lot worse than what he has, which is a really bad indication on him and his tactical setup. People look at Casemiro and say he's not caught. I think it's the way it's set up. And again, yesterday, once Bruno Fernandes is off the pitch, we look like a bit of a better team.
Yeah.
And he doesn't add anything. I understand he's out of form. We should not be playing him, in my opinion. But the thing is, look, this conversation needs to go beyond, is Ten Hag good enough or not? The thing is, he's at his limit. This is like when you can see somebody dying.
I think from yesterday, he looked defeated. He looked clueless. He looked confused. And I will dive into that as well. But I want to sort of say hello to everyone that came into the stream. Guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyway, big up for Amy in the house. Hello, McCreevy. Amir Fikir, Ten Hag is saying, have no idea and tactical, not good at using the players who is fit already, 100%. We have comments from Manchester is red forever. Bro, what they do in practice? I don't know. I mean, it is not what you do in practice. It's what you do on the pitch. Because when you're playing games, this is what you get you 3 points or 1 point or 0 points. But apparently, like what you do in practice, apparently what I've been hearing, Bruno Fernandes is really good in practice. Then you have, Diego Loy is very good in practice. That was according to Benny McCarthy. Frankie, glory, Man United, big up Mick. Amar is saying here, good news. You say everyone is in the house. Oh, Zidane as a manager. Now it's Nagelsmann. Now the speculation is going. And Stephanie Griffith, big up for you, Stephanie. She's saying big up Mick and Bilal and Ruben Amorim. So now we are speculating again who's coming in. But just going to go with the BBC quote. They say they don't have a Scooby-Doo, right? They say he didn't have to come out to speak to BBC, but he said it's not my decision. Like, he wouldn't be a successful billionaire without delegating things to other people to do his business, right? So that's what he's pretty much saying. I don't really know, man. And therefore, we were supposed to have a little bit more panel, but they're kind of running late. But I still want to sort of do this. Let's play the devil's advocate, man. This is kind of the new concept where we're actually going to spin the wheel, and whatever topic is, we're going to debate. So let me just bring that to the stage, my friend. Hang on a second. Any thoughts regarding is it beyond repair, Bilal?
It was beyond repair last year. I don't understand what he's still doing here. Look, Mick, okay, you're a pro Ten Hag supporter, right? Which is fine. Yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I respect their opinion. Okay, you tell me what you're seeing different from last year to this year.
Well, what can I say? We started off well from playing out great from the back. We started off playing press play to say we were pressing really good, but we're missing the trigger points, right? We don't really understand when to press. The midfield seems to be okay, but my problem is that we waited for well too long in the transfer market. So equally, it's Ineos' fault, right? Because we wanted to sort of make something to say that we are not old Man United, so we will not take for ransom. So we negotiated and haggled, and we got the players in late. So really, when you look at Matthias de Ligt, he got his full 90 minutes debut after 4 games. Ugarte full 90 minutes after last week, and we haven't really had our first real starting 11, and that's the point, right? So big up, Uncle Jimmy's in the house. How you doing?
Big up. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. I'm just warning you, I've got the full house today. Kids are here. The dog is in the background, so it's probably might get chaotic in the background. I'm just going to mute whenever.
That's okay.
Chaotic. So
it's like United. It's chaotic.
It's like it's managed by Ineos in here right now. You get me? You know, one of them. But man. Hey, listen. We are where we are, innit? We are where we are.
Where are we, Jimmy? Where are we?
But let me drop. I'm a balanced guy, by nature.
Me too.
That's just how I am in it by nature. So I like to do both sides. So let's look at where we are right now. It's bad. It's not good. We can't win games. We can't play well. And we can't learn from our mistakes. The 3 big mistakes that bad football teams make is those 3 things. That's what you do. So it's when you can't win a game, when you can't play good football, you can't play productive good football or acceptable football even, and you can't learn from your mistakes. So if you look at teams that get relegated, those are the 3 key things that they would do all through the season. So that's where we are. This is relegation form that we're in right now, and that's not even me being dramatic. That's relegation form.
Yeah, it looks like we're playing. It looks like we are prime Burnley at the moment.
We're less than prime Burnley. I mean, it's pretty bad. But then the other side, I'm looking at it. I'm saying, as a fan base, we need to learn to hold the club and the players accountable, as well as the manager, of course, right? And what I mean by that is what we need to aim to get as a club, even and the structure at the club. I hope that they feel this way to a certain extent. As a club, we need to learn to not rely on what manager comes to the club. That's where we need to get to. That should be the aim. The aim is not to get a manager that wins us titles. The aim should be to get the team and the structure at the club to a position where the manager doesn't matter, like Real Madrid are, like Barcelona was for a while, like Bayern Munich was for a while. So the aim of the game is to get this team to the point where the team functions so well that the manager can change and it's fine. Managers come in and they just tweak a few things and then the football carries on. It doesn't rely on who the manager is. And I think as a fan base, we've lost the ability to hold everyone accountable. We have to find someone. There has to be one particular thing that we blame. It can't be a collection of things. Look at how many people want to blame individual players even for the losses. Individual players. And it's like, well, there's been individual mistakes, but this problem, for me, looks so much deeper than that one player that you're blaming in that situation. So, we need to learn to have an objective view of what's going wrong at this club and not just say, well, if you change the manager, everything's going to be fine. Do you know why? It's probably going to be fine for a little bit, but we're going to be back in the same position. It's not going to go away very quickly. So there's some fundamental things that need to change it. And for me, it goes beyond just changing the manager. I'm not saying I want Ten Hag to stay, by the way. This is not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying because at this point, the mistakes that he's made have just been too unacceptable for me. And I'm not a tactical by any stretch of the imagination, but there's some very basic things that he's, you're taking off goal scorers when you need goals and all of that. It's too much for me. And in the name of rotation, no manager does it. So it's all these strange decisions that he's been making that I just think I can't see a way out for him. Now, if he can find a way out, that's good. But I can't see it.
Well, yesterday was, for me, it was confused.com because we are 3-2 down and you do defensive substitutions. In the first half, you're 2-2 and you take on the only threat that the defenders were scared of, Marcus Rashford. What for? And the excuse is rotation. But are you there to win the game or are you there to have an exhibition? Let's have a listen to the post-match, what he did yesterday.
Eric, obviously mixed emotions after that game. However, we started off very strong. How are you feeling after that?
I think that is a good assessment. Mixed emotions. We started very well, scored 2 great goals. We dominated the game, and then we gave it away.
Where did we dominate the game? They were actually, if you look at the stats, they were leading the possession, shots on targets in the first half. That we didn't dominate. The goals that we scored was Marcus Rashford was a self-driven goal. And he beat Diego Costa at the goalpost. Diego Costa did 2 simple mistakes at the goalpost. We didn't dominate.
We let them return in the game. Of course, it was great quality from them. We have to say that as well. But the way we defended, we have to do better there.
Yes, guys, the way we defended, I have a bone to pick here, guys. If you ever played the game, if you're a defender, you should always be in front of your man. Both of these 2-0 games, where were they? Where were Diego Dalot? He was in the midfield. Where were De Ligt? Where were, Licha? They were way behind. And the thing is, it's down to the system because he's giving them instruction to play high up on the pitch.
It's those stubborn tactics that people have been talking about. Because for me, if the first goal you concede is because you've inverted Dalot, right? And then in the same situation, you're still allowing him to invert. And then the second goal is conceded because you've inverted Dalot. And then you've still kept him in the same position, asking him to do exactly the same. They say, what's insanity? Insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
So if we pause there on the defense, he's actually left the 2 centre-backs exposed by having the fullback being high up on the pitch, by having Dalot 3 games in a row, cutting in the midfield and being high up on the pitch. Both goals, you look, where is Dalot? If you look at the other goal, Rashford is jogging, not tracking back. So in this system,
he's not the quickest either, to be fair.
No. In this system, the wingers have to track back and help defensively if you're going to play this system. But they ain't doing it. I
don't think they do, mate. I'm sorry, because they keep doing the same thing again and again. And he keeps playing them, so he must be telling them to do this. This is where people are going wrong. They keep expecting Rashford. So when yesterday Martinez was overexposed because Dalot was moving into the middle, he knew that he's telling these players to do what he's telling Casemiro to spray them balls over like Liverpool. He's telling Rashford, because these players keep doing these things, keep making these mistakes, and they keep getting selected. So they are being told to do this.
Okay. All right, let's continue with Ten Hag's interview here. I said what he continues to say.
And also the third goal, we have to do better. But then we picked it up again, and this team showed some resilience. This team showed again a great fighting spirit, and in the end, we got rewarded for it by equalizer.
Where did we play well? It was just like, this is where I was scratching my head. We were 3-2 down, and he does defensive substitutions by bringing on 2 veterans. Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire, and there was pure luck that Harry Maguire scored, and he takes off Amad Diallo and put in a rusty Anthony. Are you there to win the game? That was my big question mark.
There were some great goals in there too, and obviously Harry Maguire's final goal there to help us. How important was it, that desire in the squad to obviously fight till the end?
Yeah, we have a squad, and the bench is so important, especially in the number of games we have to play.
So here comes his explanation for why he took off Rashford and everything else. I'm just saying it's the wrong game. It's the wrong game to think about. He was already in halftime thinking about Aston Villa. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, but you know, some games you play the best players.
This choice felt very good for us, and so we are very happy, of course, with the equalizer from Harry.
And then at halftime, obviously Marcus Rashford come off too. How is he doing? Is he okay? And all those rest of the squad seeming okay after the game?
He is okay, but also Alejandro Garnacho. He is in the season. He is our attacking threat in this moment, and we brought him from the bench. So we need fresh players also up to Sunday, and yeah, that's all in the plan.
It's all in the plan, guys. Do you understand what he's trying to do? Like, he was already thinking at halftime about Villa.
Yeah, but
right?
sometimes you have to change the plan, isn't it? When it calls for it, you can't just stick to the plan. You don't just stick to the plan in big games.
The point is what I'm trying to make. Rashford, we've been saying bench Rashford, do this, but now he is on fire. He's the one causing threats in the defense. They're shit scared of him. Why are you taking off the informed player that's causing damage, right? Why? I thought maybe it's a niggle, maybe it's a knock, and that was kind of the mistake. He should have taken, maybe he should have done the substitution 60 minutes in, potentially, right? But anyway, so there's a lot of confusion going on in my head at the moment what really happened yesterday, because the substitution didn't make sense whatsoever. The in-game management, the selection. Of course, I was thinking, okay, we're playing Sunday, Villa. Of course, you got to mix it up a bit. But still, this game is important, right? And still, yet again, like, you know, we go up 2-0. We score 2 beautiful goals within 20 minutes. And then we concede to 3-2. Then took me back to last season, guys. Hey, big up, Mark. Are you there?
Big up. It was given some trouble before I had.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, good. We're just going over yesterday, basically, that it was a really confusing. It was a really confusing game, to be honest.
Yeah, really to be fair, like I was very shocked about the Rashford substitution, and you know, I'm really critical of Rashford, and I think has to be the leader of the attack this season. You know, he's a senior figure. He's the only senior player in attack. He has to be the one to lead, and he was doing just that in the game. But I will remind everyone that it's probably the only game this season, or maybe the second game in probably, let's say, 20 matches that he's shown a performance like this that we're going to say, well, yo, why is he coming off? So I don't see the big argument when actually Garnacho this season has had better performances consistently than Rashford. Now, the problem is, for me, that Garnacho didn't do anything when he came on.
No.
Which is disappointing in one hand, but in the other hand is shocking, because every single match he's came on in the last 6 matches, he's been the most dangerous attacker.
The right wing we didn't even play to the right wing. Ahmad didn't do anything. Everything went
Ahmad was just having a bad game. You know, I mean, we did play to him. He was not having a good game at all. I think he should have been benched at the halftime. I think the substitution should have been Ahmad, because he was having a terrible game. But and Lisandro Martinez, because in my honest opinion, maybe we don't want to admit it, but for the last 5 games, he has been having a stinker.
Yeah,
Lisandro. Yeah. He's been the reason we conceded many of the goals we conceded anyway. I don't see that the goals that we conceded yesterday as a fault of the system. I see it as a fault of Lisandro. Lisandro on both occasions was at fault for not covering his man. The second time, you can actually see he watched the man, switched off for a second, and the man got ahead of him to score, and he was like, damn. You could see it in his reaction after the goal was scored. Even the first goal, he allowed the player to run past him. When all he had to do was step in front of the player to block him, and he could have been there to get the ball first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, we can't really blame tactics for player error. No, the problem is
positioning.
we could say that okay, there has been some spaces in the midfield, but then I would draw the example to this. If you focus on the midfield, why is we not scoring goals when we are one of the top teams in the top 3 for chances created this season in the Premier League, and we are the top team in the Premier League for chances missed. Now this has to reflect on the strikers, not the coach. Because the strikers are getting in positions to get these chances, but they are missing.
Yeah, but
So
Højlund got his goal.
A lot of people argue that that stat is not. It doesn't really reflect because when you look at that stat, it's not telling you what kind of chances are being created. So yes, I know we've got high numbers of chances created, but what
big
kind
chances,
of
not
chances
small
are created,
chances.
and what does that stat actually mean? A lot of people have argued that stat doesn't really mean anything. So you can still blame the coach because, and I'm not saying I want to blame the coach here, but I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit, because you could say it's the coach's job to make sure that those chances are created in a way that plays to the best abilities of the people in the box, the attackers.
Okay, I agree, but at the same time, it's not the coach's responsibility to score the goal. So
no, it's not. No,
and I would like to remind everyone, we could all watch the games back. We have created in only one game, we have not created more chances than the opponent.
Okay,
and that's against Liverpool, right? And we have diminished the amount of chances we concede, the shots on target as well. So I mean, if we go and take away some stats just to say don't justify anything, then if I was to remove some stats, I would say we far improved from last season, and that would not be genuine, if you understand what I'm saying. No, we could take it away and talk about putting the players in their best chances, but at the end of the day, this is football. This is not kiddie school or anything like that. This is not preschool. Players don't need the perfect opportunity to score a goal, because when other teams come against us, they don't get perfect chances to score. They score. So we need to stop making excuses about the perfect chance, because these things are fairy tales. They do exist. You know what I mean? Look at some of the chances Ronaldo to score in goals, 40 yards out, 50 yards out. That's not an average chance. It's not.
Listen, Mark, we had a late discussion about this, and this is the reason why we have this podcast as well, because we're going to be level based. Guys, all opinions are welcome, even in the chat. We are fans. There's nothing we can do more than be critical. We give roses when we can. We give stick when we can. At the end of the day, we love this team, and we want this team to be successful. I want this team to be successful. I want the current manager to be successful, but not to the cost that we are losing games, or to the cost that we are where we are. It looks like we are playing like it's prime April, right? Prime May, that we're already checked out, right? That's how it feels. And when was the season when I saw this in the beginning, where we were playing like a relegation football, right? So something is missing here, guys. And from a financial perspective, the new ownership, they invested a lot of money, and Jim Ratcliffe was kind of speaking to say, it's not my decision, but one thing that we know, the prime objective is to take Manchester United back to the top. So the question is, if this continues, I don't think they're going to tolerate this, guys. Because also from a financial reason, Gingerbish is saying here, if we don't make European football this season, it will be a huge FFP implication, right? But also affects the Adidas 9-year sponsorship and the Snapdragon sponsorship, right? That is money talks at the end of the day, guys, right? I want to do one thing here. Let's play the devil's advocate. You know what I mean? So the way it works, I've already composed a wheel, right? So we're going to pick a topic here. So we have a couple of topics here: system and tactics, what people are saying, in-game management, give him time, team selection, and Ten Hag in or out. So I'm going to spin the wheel, and when the wheel stops, you guys are going to have a say. Are you ready? In-game management. Okay, let's talk about in-game management so far. Certain things is not there yet. I mean, Bilal, what do you think about his in-game management? Has it improved? Has it not? I mean,
I
he's
think
doing
it has.
early subs, but does he do the wrong subs?
Yeah, I think his whole in-game management has been really poor last year and this year. But I think that kind of links to the overall problem, which is that I think he's at his limit on what he can do and how much he can affect. He doesn't have the solutions to the problems, hence why the in-game management is very, very poor. Every team has players out. Every team has to work with that. We saw it against Tottenham. Their main player Son was out on the weekend. So, the excuse of injuries and no, you're never gonna get all your players fit for the whole season. It's just not possible.
Bilal, can I just ask you a quick question, right?
Please do.
So, because this puzzles me and it shouldn't. Is he really just that bad that what we're looking at as very obvious in-game management mistakes, and he's just that bad and they're really just mistakes? Or are we just not clued up to some genius ideas that he's got?
No.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is it just bad? Is it just that?
100%. I think we have to look at it from a balanced perspective. We can't just look at it from the perspective where we think it's bad, we think he's clueless, because then where's the point? He would not have been hired as coach if he was illiterate. So to make the coach song illiterate to drive a point home makes no sense. Now, he has made mistakes. All coaches make mistakes. I mean, look at Arteta in his first 2.5 seasons. He's conceded more goals than Ten Hag, lost more games, won less games, drawn more. Ten Hag has a better record, and he has not been coaching Man United as long. Also, if you want to draw another reference to that, everybody said the C where Arteta was going, but he finished 8th and 8th. In fact, the second time he finished 8th, he didn't win a trophy. The first time they won the FA Cup. Then he went on to finish 5th. Right? So we have to look at it from the perspective of, is two hands have to clap. The team have to work. The coach has to do tactics. No amount of tactics can work if the team don't display a certain basic amount of effort. And I argue that we have not seen that effort consistently from everybody. And while we have seen mistakes from a lot of players, and the manager has made mistakes, don't get me wrong, I didn't like the starting lineup, but that starting lineup got us to 2-0. Now, the problem is, if his tactics were shit, why we got to 2-0? Because the real question we should be asking is, how did those players, after getting to 2-0 based on the manager's tactics and setup, which we all say was wrong, concede 2 goals? That is the question we should be asking. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, sorry, Bilal. I was. It's just. I just. When it's, for me, it's just staggering, and it's like.
Yeah, I'm a bit older than you guys, right? So, Dutch coaches are very stubborn in how they operate, right? So I'm going back to, like, I'm sure Mick might remember Louis van Gaal at Barcelona in 98, and he got sacked as well for the same thing. And Dutch coaches are setting how they're going to play, and that is it. Whether they're fucking getting relegated or not, this is it. This is our set. And
that's how he got sacked at Man United as well, isn't it? Same thing.
Yeah, he's set in his way. Where Mark's coming in, I agree and disagree to an extent. Mark is saying, well, them tactics got us to 2-0, but then it comes to the original point of in-game management. The first thing is we didn't stop the crosses coming in. They were hammering us with crosses throughout that game. Secondly, they adapted in throughout the match and got it to 3-2. At any point, am I not saying that? My point is not that Ten Hag shit. I'm just saying the job is just too difficult for him, because most of them players are his and he still can't get a tune out of them, and he's making them look worse than what they are.
Okay. When I say in-game management, you have 90 minutes plus add-on time, right? So basically, the way I see managers in the dugout, they are like conductors, like, Vienna Symphony Orchestra, right? With, they're deciding the tempo, right? Slow down, increase, go attack, boom, slow down. You know what I mean? With this metronome stick, right? Yesterday, it was clear. I was watching, and then I saw Porto's coach doing exactly like a conductor does, animated. I'm seeing these guys sitting on the bench, not even reacting, right? Fair play, right? So in-game management is also to tell your captain and tell your players, hey, stick to the plan, stick to the rules, defend. You don't let the guy that scored a brace, by the way, he was in front of the defenders, right? You don't let Diego Dalot to sit still in the midfield to expose the center backs. Where is the in-game management? When you see that something is going wrong, act, instead of be proactive, then reactive. You know what I mean? So fair play, like, wait, can I just finish? The substitution of Marcus Rashford did not make any sense. That's my point. Because Rashford was cooking in the first half. He was causing trouble. Why would you take up Rashford? His explain is, well, he's got to play against Villa, and Garnacho is being okay, yeah? But the question is, are you there to win the game, or is it an exhibition? Is it an exhibition because you want to prove that, yeah, I'm going to do it different in the last season. I'm going to rotate because I don't want to have injured players, If you look at in-game management, you should look at your captain. What is your captain doing? Is he too hot-headed? Is it time to take him off? Now, the end result is he got a red. 2 red cards, and he's been absolutely dog shit. His attitude stinks. His performance stinks. And that trickles down to the rest of the team. So now you can see that we had problems with scoring, and now all of a sudden we have problems in defending because these guys are looking scared, right? Is that a fair assessment to say?
I don't think the problems we have in scoring is based on Bruno, and I don't think the problem we have in defending is based on Bruno. I do think Bruno has had a bad start to the season, but if we go back the last 3 seasons, he's almost a consistent performer. Now, he should come out of the team, I agree. Yesterday's red card was impossible, to be fair. He never even touched the Porto player, which means the player was play acting, so he should have received a card. Now, granted, I think it was ordained that Bruno should be coming out to the team for a couple of games, whether it is be in the league or it be for the Europe, because he get 2 red cards. I think he should have dropped him for the game. I'm being honest. My starting lineup when I picked it didn't have Bruno in it. So I agree, Bruno has not been great. But at the same time, I feel like it's not always about another player's fault that another player has to face a player one-on-one and do a defensive job. I mean, this is what they get paid for. You know what I mean? You cannot blame Diego Dalot for Martinez being shit. That's mad. And I think to blame other players for not being there to help a player when, bro, he's just supposed to be doing his job. Okay. His responsibilities to defend is like Onana. Onana's responsibility is to goalkeep. You know what I mean? Zirkzee got responsibility, Højlund responsibility is to put the ball in the back of the net.
But there's a communication gap. There's a communication because as a goalkeeper, the 2 goals, I mean, the first shot stop save from Onana was brilliant, but where was the defender ball watching, right? Martinez. You should be there. Everyone should be tracking back and just block and defend. Those 3 goals that we conceded was 2 far easy goals. There was unnecessary goals. And Eric Ten Hag said that in the interview as well. There was, horrible, right? So that's what I'm saying. In the beginning, when we started, we were playing really, really well defensively, right? But we were not firing up on front. Like XG was up there. We couldn't finish the dinner. All of a sudden, we have 2 goals in 20 minutes. Fantastic. Like, here we go, boys. But now, how do you defend this 2-0? That's the in-game management.
It's still the first half. We have 2 goals. We should be still playing the same way we're playing in order to try and either increase the lead or keep the other team off their guard. Don't give them a chance to find their confidence again. And maybe this is why Rashford came off, because if you notice, after he scored the goal, he stopped tracking back. And that was the weird thing. Now, I don't agree with him coming off. I thought Ahmad was not having a good game. He should have came off. But realistically, I mean, we needed to defend better off of the left because Jao Mario, who was playing off on their right wing, as the right wing back, was creating all the problems. He was where them 2 first goals came from. And if Rashford was tracking back, maybe it wouldn't have happened. I don't know.
We're going to finish off the topic and move on. Around the panel, around the corner. What's the solution? How are you fixing your management then? Quickly. Bilal?
What was that, sorry?
Okay, we've finished off with the topic of in-game management, but what do you, if you were his consultant now to consult Ten Hag, what would you do the advice for him to fix the in-game management? What would you say?
Get the team more compact, number 1. I remember Benitez used to do it. Used to always be like that on the sides. They're too compact. They need to just keep clean sheets, get to winning games, fuck the style, get it compact, and just win some games. and get some momentum going.
Yeah, you agree, Mark?
Well, last season he was saying we wanted a style of play, so I can't really agree with that 100%. I think we should be a little bit more compact in the midfield, but I mean, some fans wanted a style of play last season, is why they wanted the manager out. So I can't say forget the style of play this season because.
Okay.
I mean,
what about you, Uncle Jimmy?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's common sense, and it's not too complicated, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I agree with Chonino. You say total football is about attacking defensive responsibility, which grow as a team. Midfield go forward, the defense cover, strikers drop, midfielders venture ball, and organism is a team. That's what it is. Anyway, we're going to move on to the spinning the next topic. We're finishing off that in-game management. Let's do the next one. Let's go. Where's it going to land? Where's it going to land? Ooh, yes. System and tactics, people. That kind of ties into what we just transition over to what we actually talk about. I can go because I had a discussion with Mark at 6 a.m. in the morning. I think that he's stubborn, definitely. It's the total football, what Chonino was saying there as well. Last year, we saw was the excuse of the injuries, but he didn't change his system or tactics. He wants to play this high press, play up from the back. But the 4-2-3-1 don't work. It doesn't work. And I think that players are look lost in his communication. The vision of a manager, you have a mind map in your head. You know what your style is. You know where you want to be. But the problem is, how do you communicate to make Jimmy understand, to make Bilal understand, to make Mark understand what their problem is, right? What to do. I think is that they look very, very uncomfortable on the pitch, very unsure, uncertain what to do. But if you're not conducting on the sidelines to be animated and, hey, Bruno, go back, hey, they're still going to run amok, So it's basically you sitting in the front desk here, like this is your cubicle, and this is the only place you can go. You've been shackled, right? So for me, the 4-2-3-1 doesn't work. The press play doesn't work. The play out from the back kind of started to work, but that play high up with the fullbacks and don't track back and just leave the fullbacks exposed causes problems. The creativity, in my opinion, that we don't score goals is because of the system, because of the defensive duty as well by the midfielders, right? I don't see Pep doing that. I don't see fucking Arteta doing it. Their midfield and their attack is a potent attack because they have creativity. They have freedom to express themselves. I don't see this current team and players enjoying this style of play. Back to you, Bob. What do you think? Mark?
I don't know. I think I disagree slightly in the sense that you see, I feel like if the team was not creating any consistent chances at all in the last 10 games, in the last 7 games we played, we averaging more than 14 chances per game, and that's just chances on goal. We're not talking big chances, small chances, just chances. If we didn't have that, then I would say the system is not working. Obviously, I don't agree with some of the selections in the system, but at the end of the day, you have to attack and defend. That's just normal. Like I feel like when you look at other teams, especially like Liverpool, their wingers get back, their midfielders attack and defend. You know what I mean? I feel like, our players learning a system that's new to them. Before we was playing a counter-attacking system that was pretty much simple. Yeah, some of the players know how to play the system, some don't. Some learning, some adjusting to a new league, some just came here, didn't have a preseason, so they're still getting match fit. I mean, there's a lot of problems this season. I think holistically, we have been better than last season in terms of you could see the actual players trying to do something, right? And making mistakes, as opposed to making mistakes and you not know what they're trying to do. We could actually see what they're trying to do this season. And that is where I would say, well, maybe is a thing of a teething problem, where the players still working out, themselves as a team. Because, if you have new players coming that should be starters, we bought 5 this summer. 3 of them didn't have a preseason, 1 injured, and the other one who had the preseason, he's one of the most consistent players so far, which is Mazraoui. So I would say,
Well, I would say that I go over to Bilal as well, because the way I see it, he wants to play high possession-based football, like to keep the ball a lot, but it's too slow, and that's why I'm saying we lack the creativity, right? And therefore we're not scoring the goals. It's all about defense, defend as a team, but have high possession and win the ball back high up. So far, it's not working. Bilal, what's your thought process regarding that?
I think a 4-2-3-1 is not working.
It's not working.
Number one. Number two is that in this system, everything has to go through Bruno Fernandes, which is a big problem, because he is basically a player that is gonna he wants to create a chance on every ball he gets. He wants to put it through and get somebody in. And if you compare him to somebody like Kevin De Bruyne, who keeps it ticking, in this current form, because he's not creating anything, he's not really contributing. I don't think this system's going to work. I think he should go to a 4-3-3 with the three in the middle. Compact. That will give you stability, and that's a Dutch system as well, which he should know inside out. A stable 4-3-3. Not every team has a Bruno Fernandes playing, and most teams above us don't have a Bruno Fernandes, and they score more and they concede less as well in a different system. So for the time being, I think you should move to a 4-3-3, put a stable midfield in.
Absolutely what I'm thinking too. I agree with that, because we need stability. The 4-3-3 works, as you said. You creates more compact, which also allows the defenders, the midfielder, to defend and attack as well, right? I think when he first came the first season, Jimmy, he played a 4-3-3. Then in second season, he did a transition to 4-2-3-1, and possession-based football and high press. But the problem there was only one player that was pressing, and there was Bruno, who was running around like a headless chicken. So I agree with what you're saying here. He should revert back to the 4-3-3.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I said about the 4-3-3 last season. I said, look, why doesn't he just play a 4-3-3 and get, especially when Kobbie Mainoo was brought into the team? I said, look, if you want to develop Kobbie Mainoo properly and you want to stabilize, because at the time I thought you could play a midfield combination somehow of, when we had Amrabat, Mainoo, Casemiro, Mount, and Eriksen, if they're all available, I think you could have done something with that if you play 4-3-3. I think it's just he was doing too much. If he tried to keep it simple, where he's saying to the players, we need to keep the ball in midfield until we know what to do with it. Try and do those. Paul Scholes criticized the team last season. He's still doing it this season, to say there seems to be no one or no instructions to the team to just calm it down, calm things down, get control of the game a little bit more, and until you decide what you're going to do with it. And I think we can't do it if we're not playing a 4-3-3, because the players that we've got, they're just not at the level. And I'm not saying they can't get there, but at the moment, they're not at the level where they can play these complex, boxes that you have to create when you're playing.
It's too complex. That's what I'm trying to say. The 4-2-3-1 is too complex. Too many components. And then I'm saying, look at Arsenal, Arteta, look at Klopp. He played a simple 4-3-3. That's football. But that's what I'm trying to say, that it's too complicated and
better results.
It's too complicated and players are confused in what am I supposed to do here? Defend, attack, when should I press, when should I... Too many instructions. It's football. Instead of just going out and express yourself, the way Klopp was playing, and it's basically start coming in and just taking over, doing a little bit of a tweaks, but they're still playing attacking football. I don't see us playing attacking football. What we're trying to do in the pitch is more possession-based and just press. But we want to attack, We want to be a potent... What's the point of pressing high and having possession when you can't utilize it to the max? So I said, just go back to a compact 4-3-3, create a mid-block in the midfield. You can still win it back with Agartha playing as a single pivot.
I was saying even some games where you might have the other team coming at you, but they're not that good. They're not your Cities or your Liverpools, but your teams like your Bournemouths and Brightons, where they can come out quickly, and Crystal Palace sometimes as well. They can come out quickly. You could play 4-4-2 in those games, but he doesn't have that mindset of just trying to play football. When you've got Xerxes and Højlund fit, you should try and because this team needs to score more goals because our goal difference is terrible. So we need to try and get goals, as many goals as we can get. And also, we need to try and not concede. And I feel like he's maybe overthinking the midfield at times, and that's what's caused a lot of problems. Where he's overthinking who's the technical player, who's the holding player, and who's the adventurous player. So he thinks he can always he thinks he needs to always have a combination of those three, and you don't always have to have that.
Guys, yesterday in the instance we were playing 2-2-2-2, like the old Ragnick style, right? So therefore I was going like, okay, the fullbacks was fully exposed. Where was our midfield? Okay, fine, but there could be also another system where you can play a 3-5-2. And when I'm saying 3-5-2 is to utilize the two potent strikers, meaning you can introduce Xerxes together with Højlund, and you can still use the 5 in the mid with the wing backs going up and down, right? Because apparently, if we look at when Lena Euro comes back, we have agility, we have speed, we have confident defenders that can be the shield in front of Onana. That's the thing. But what I want to see is Xerxes being more of the link-up play, because he's not a striker. He's more of a 9.5, 10, right?
I've seen people laughing at Xerxes playing, and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this is some fantastic idea, but when I thought Bruno was going to be out for a few games, I thought, well, play Xerxes in the 10 if you're struggling to play, because Mount is injured, isn't he? So if you've got Mount injured, and then we haven't got Scott McTominay anymore, and then you look at Ahmed. I don't think Ahmed can play in the 10 really at the moment. I don't think he's strong enough to play there. The next person I can see is, and Eriksen's. Is Eriksen injured? Is he fit? Is Eriksen fit?
Yeah, he's fit. He's fit.
I think he's fit. Okay.
I mean,
well,
Mason Mount just got a cut.
You to play Eriksen, but you want Eriksen to play as a midfielder, so play Xerxes in the 10 because you're struggling for number 10.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Eriksen don't have legs, but at least he's got the technical abilities. He's good on set pieces, on corners. He can find passes 100%. But then you could play Ugarte behind Eriksen as the shield, like as a single pivot. And Eriksen being more complex registra, right? And then you will have Xerxes to link up the play. That could work, right? And then Højlund as a fox in the box. And still have potent wingers to sort of play high up on the pitch to pin back the fullbacks. Could work, guys. Could work. I like this debate because it gives you a little bit of a balance. Like we're talking about educational solutions, right? Not just fuck this, fuck that. You know what I mean? Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. At the end of the day, you can be whatever you want. Let's move on to the next topic, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm gonna have to shoot. As I mentioned to you that I can't stay for too long, as I've got the kids. So
no worries. So solution is
starting to get
play
4-3-3. So I better go.
So 4-3-3 then, Jimmy.
I would say 4-3-3. Keep it simple. 4-4-2 in some games where you think you're gonna get more. It's going to be a bit more open. Play 4-4-2.
Okay, before you go,
going up.
Villa away. Are you confident?
Am I confident? Absolutely not a chance at all. I'm not confident. I don't think it will be as devastating as people are saying it will be, but it could be. I don't know. But I don't think it's. I think Emery's smart. He's not going to come out. He's not going to come out to be stupid about it. I think he's going to be quite cautious. So.
Jarvis, you're more than welcome to jump in and take over Jimmy's spot because Jimmy's going to go. Big up Jarvis as well in the house. Jimmy, thank you so much.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Good night. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Good night.
Big up, Jimmy.
God bless you, Jim. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to continue because we have a few topics left. Let's go. Come on, United. Woof. Where's he going to land? All right, give him time. Comes up from the famous quote of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. They had an interview today on BBC. Basically, was saying it's not my decision. I have people under me that makes the call. I'm just the owner, basically. But quote at the very end of that interview, the objective is to take Man United back to the top. Mark, is it trust the process or trust the progress?
I would say trust the process, because in one of those things, progress is not linear. This is sports. You know, what I mean, I could give you examples from all different types of sports. You know, I could give you one from the Olympics. You know, everyone 2 years ago, Shakiri Richardson, no one thought she would ever make the Olympics. Then she was Olympic champion. She was the world champion. She went to the Olympics. Nobody thought she could lose. And then the young solution girl came in and blew her out of the water. 100-meter champion. You know what I mean? You know, sports is like that. You know, it's something, you know, you work hard, you be consistent, and you could still fail. You know what I mean? You could wake up one morning and have a muscle strain. You don't feel it, but it's there, and you don't perform to your best. Now, what I would say is that the manager just really got fully backed, I think, this season with what this new structure did. The players they brought in was a very good selection of players in terms of fitting the profile to the expansive type of football we would like to play. And the manager needs time for those players to get themselves better in and find chemistry with the other players in the squad. At least 4 out of those 5 should be nailed on starters for me coming into the team, and that will take time because they would have to also form partnerships with the defenders and the midfielders who they're replacing and joining.
So you trust the process?
I trust the
That's your
structure,
conclusion.
so therefore I have to
Yeah.
trust the process, because they decided to go with Ten Hag after interviewing other managers. So
Yeah, I can agree to that as well. I can disagree as well. I mean, if you look at every single club have a footballing operation, they have a structure. No matter what, if you sack the manager, you know, the next manager just walks in and they're playing the same style, right? But you got to remember also under the Glazers' stewardship, we didn't have that. So every manager that we sacked and hired, you know, we started over again, like new players recruited in, new style of play, and that's why we ended up like spending 1 billion with nothing to show for. So give it time. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if it's a rebuild, it's a rebuild. You started in the summer 100%, but patience is not there, I guess. They invested a lot of money. They want to win, and they want to win fast. But Omar Barada, what baffles me, Bilal, was to say that we aim to win the Premier League in 2028. 4 years.
4 years from now.
Do you have time? Do you have time as a
I think
fan?
that's quite quick for them.
I mean, we haven't won anything. We haven't won Premier League or Champions League for 11.
They're obviously ambitious, but coming to the point of what you've said, it's a results-based business, and if you could see some sort of progress on what he was trying to do. The thing is, look, I'm trying to give this a bit of a different point of view, and what we have to give Ten Hag credit for is he walked into a very difficult situation, right? So after Ragnick, he came in, and after a couple of months, the club went up for sale. He had a really good first season. He won the Carabao Cup, and we finished third, I think it was. In my opinion, like I said to you last time, I thought he should have resigned at that point, because the club was going through a takeover, and when a takeover happens, usually everything gets changed, including the manager.
Yeah, including the manager.
Right? He should have seen the writing on the wall, and that was a good time to go out. Then we go into last season, and it was a disaster. Whoever you want to blame for it, but it was a disaster. He had the luck he was lucky, and he won the FA Cup. Fine. He should have resigned at that point, because he was a dead man walking. Everybody knew they were after another manager. He should not have stayed, because he was undermined. Now we find ourselves in a situation where he's undermined, number one. The players are not performing, and the results are not improving. And this will only end in one way. There's no way he can turn this around. It's impossible. There's no signs of him turning it around. You show me one game where you think yesterday you're winning 2-0, we get a turnover. A substandard team like the Spurs are smashing us. Teams that have employed a new manager 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago are smashing us. Yeah. We just cannot sustain this.
That's a bit disingenuous to say, Bilal. We lost 2-1 at the end of the game. They didn't smash us, by the way, and we dominated the game. I can't.
I know that, but I'm no. The damning point for me was the 3-0 when Spurs came to Old Trafford and played at Spurs Stadium. Basically, they came to our backyard, to our house. We invited them. They robbed the PlayStation, the TV. They took our wives and kids, and on the way out, we said, "Hey, stop! Do you want some takeaway? Here's some cookies, a little bit for your sweet tooth." So that's exactly what happened, right? And that's not acceptable, right? That game was pivotal for us to catch up, and now we have a massive uphill battle, and that's what's disturbing me. That transpired over to the game in Europa League. FC20 1-1. We needed a victory. And great, it started great 2-0. But what happened? We ended up putting in the reverse gear instead of going into the second gear, and we reversed back to the future to last season. So given time and progress, you can only help yourself at the end of the day, because what you are the manager, of course, you have been given all the tools. You got to make the best out of your players. You got to stop playing the poster boy, right? Because if players are doing well in training, if they rock up on the game, why are you taking off Rashford if he's looking like he's going to score 2-0? It just doesn't make sense. It was so confusing, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of sacking managers. No, I believe that, yes, this is the make or break season for him. He's the first one that's been given a third tenureship out of all the managers, right? He's the first manager that has a new footballing structure that is not run by bankers, right? But I don't see him being able. He's been given the key to the Ferrari, but he doesn't really know how to drive this Ferrari, right? It's too unbalanced. It's too stubborn, At the end of the day, you can help yourself, but just doing final tweaks, just a small final tweaks. We spoke about this yesterday. Mark, if your car, is something wrong with your car, you go into the garage, right? To the repair shop. To do what? They have modern technology. They do diagnostics. And the diagnostics will tell you exactly what is wrong. Now, it's up to you as an owner if you want to fix it or say, nah, I can still run on Autobahn here, 200k an hour. If I skid, I skid, right? Because that's my mindset. That's what I want to achieve. I have my target to set. I'm going to win everything. I'm the winner. But if you're not listening to the diagnostics, and the diagnostics here as well, is after the game, you have all the analytics, all the videos, you can learn, and then you can apply.
Yeah, but the problem is with that, because diagnostics only come in cars made into after 2000s. United is a more older car, more like an old Rolls Royce, where they have no computer in the car, and they're trying to modernize this car into the 21st century. This is more United right now, because we have been a rut for 10 years. So think about it. We are already an old car before they had all these technology that the diagnostics and the computers could read. And now we have an old car we're trying to bring. So think about it more like a Ford, one of those Ford cars like from Fast and the Furious or something, or like, Gone in 60 Seconds, the GTB Twin Cam, the Shelby Cobra. Think about it like that. No real onboard computer. You're putting a new custom engine, custom turbo, custom brakes, custom steering, custom short throw gears and shifters and all these things, right? You're putting a new throttle body and all these things. Now, you have to go in manually and adjust the tweaks. And when you work on it first, you get the brakes to work the way you want it to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get the handbrake, you get that to work. You tune the turbo, you tune the boost. You have to tune it because it's pounds of boost, and not all. You don't want 2 pounds. You might want 2.5 or 2.1. You know what I mean? You have to tune the intake to get the RPM up the right way. You how to use the right tuning to get the engine performing. So what I'm saying is we have all these parts that just came in hot off the press from Germany. You know what I mean? We have some parts that come in from China overnight. And we now put them into the car and we test running. And there's the first 6 games of the season we test driving still. We have brand new coaches. We flying a team, bringing a new specialized team to help us tune the car and run the car.
That's fine. I agree. But then it comes down to Ineos again, because then Ineos is equally responsible. I said it numerous times, because they haggle to the end of the beginning of the season to get the players out of the door, just not to overpay, and but this costs us money. This costs us a lot of points.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah. So this, okay, of course, but then you've been given this brand new Ferrari. Are you going to drive like a prime Schumacher, or are you going to drive it like Harry Maguire's grandmother?
Well, we don't have a brand new Ferrari yet. It's not a brand new Ferrari. Man City would be a brand new Ferrari. We are the old school. Remember, we are the old great ones. We are it come like the new Phantom 2024, and we are the Phantom 2004. You understand?
Okay.
But our Phantom original cost more, it worth more. It was the epitome of what luxury was. Now we want to bring this Phantom into 2024 in terms of regulations, performance, the parts and stuff. It will take up time. It will take some time because it's never been done before.
All right. Guys, let's move on. We have 2 topics to cover before we close the shop. Let's go. Let's spin that bloody wheel. We have Ten Hag in or out, or we have team selection as well. Oh, shit. This is going to hurt. I was hoping that would come to the very end, but it's coming now because we only have team selection left. But let's be brutal. Let's go right into Ten Hag in or out. Bilal?
Out.
Why?
Number of reasons. I think
You were Ten Hag in before, right?
I was not. I've been Ten Hag out since Tottenham last came to Old Trafford in January with their fourth choice midfield and played and really kind of gave us a very good game. At that point, I thought, well, why? It was the Palace result, the Chelsea result, the Coventry result. I could go on and on and on. I feel he's a good manager, but not for Manchester United, and I'd wish him all the best. But the job's too much of a. He's done the best he can, and he's taken us as far as he can.
Mm. I know your answer, Mark. You're Ten Hag in. Mark? Silence of the Lamb. Mark, are you there? I know he's Ten Hag in.
Yeah, I was just Mick. You look at it. What has he improved since last year? Then last year we had injuries as excuse. We're making the same mistakes in Europe. We lose. We're conceding goals. Teams are running straight through us. We're buying players. We make them look shitter than what they are. We've changed everything about the manager. What has he changed? You know, we should count our lucky stars. Onana's in net. These games could have been 5-6-0. You know,
that's fine.
And we all got, and the thing is that we've got footballing people who didn't appoint him.
Bro, stop chatting shit now, bro.
Bro, we are waiting for your answer, bro. Mark, where are you?
I am Ten Hag in, actually. I can't understand why anybody would choose not to be Ten Hag in, but that's just me. I could be crazy. You know what I mean? I think we have to look at the fact that some of these players are just not good enough. Some of them we have probably rated for years. I think all the players who've been here before Ragnick came to the club needs to get out of this club because they're not good enough. They never won anything.
Fine.
Which players from last night were not good enough?
Bro, listen.
His players.
Let me explain something to you, bro. Not because Rashford having 2 good games this season means I think he should be at this club or remain at this club. I think he should be gone. He should have been sold since 21-22 when he blamed Ronaldo. You dig? Because you could tell, bro, this guy is not a winner. He's never won anything at United before Ten Hag came here, bro. Let's be real about it, right? And let's be real. There are lots of players here who are saying they don't rate the manager. Bro, you ain't win nothing. Who manager should you rate? You understand? If you're not performing on the pitch for Man United, brother, regardless of the manager, you don't deserve to be here. No manager need to motivate a player to play for the greatest club in world football, bro. That is crazy. That is crazy. I can't say that enough. So any player who in Man United need a manager to motivate them, bro, thank you for your services, but get out of here. You're not wanted. You're not good enough to be here. You don't have the mentality to be a Man United player. And that is the problem. Too many average players we overhype, overrate, right? And they're getting found out because you know what? They're not good enough to play a system that players from Ajax could have played in the Dutch league, brother. That's how I just look at it.
Right. My opinion is from I see it from a 360 perspective. I've never been in or out. I've been in doubt category because I always put standards. I always look what the club is doing. And lately I've been analyzing everything and said, this ain't working. This system ain't working. The players don't understand. And we're not clicking into gear. Right. How long are we going to wait? We say patience, give it time, give it time, give it time. I just, as a consumer of the game, because I love to watch football, I don't want to see this crap football. I don't want to see us. I don't want to have a nervous breakdown leading 2-0 and concede 3-2. Something ain't working, and if you don't do tweaks, then you're delusional. Then you definitely need. I mean, I'm looking at it from a business perspective. From a fan perspective, I never want to see a manager sacked, to be honest. But from a business perspective, I don't see this lasting from Ineos' side. They invested money. They want to win. But if this the results, football is a result business. If they ain't going to get results, he's going to be gone. That's what I think, right? I think that he needs to improve his communication to the team. He needs to be more, how do I say, vocal, like the conductor on the pitch, right? I think he also is a very introverted person, and that is the problem. Like, you know, he doesn't know how to communicate properly and how to get across his ideas. Everything in a mastermind, everything in Picasso's head, he's got the vision already. He knows what it's going to look like. But the trick here is, how do you get the best out of your players? How do you get your idea into the players? 3 years now, and you can't get a tune out of it. Right?
Well, it's been 18, it's been just about 24 months. And you know what? I think that's why he hired Ruud van Nistelrooy, and that's why he brought in Rene Hacker and all these guys, because one, the coaches he had before, they could not coach expansive football. They were only coaches. All they knew was counter-attack. You know what I mean?
No.
So we finally got coaches now who could coach the way he wants to play, who knows him. One of them is our go-in-between because he's a legend of the club, Van Nistelrooy. So I'm pretty sure the communication has improved leaps and bounds since he's came in here. Because at the end of the day, if they're doing what the manager wants and everything working, then they all having success.
No,
the
I don't
problem
see it.
is that they've only been here 6 weeks. The new coaching staff has only been here 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, it should be winning. We should be winning from the first week they came. And that's how it sounds.
Okay,
And
so wait a minute.
where-
Honest Slot has been there 6 weeks as well. He's top on the league.
And he's not inherit one of the best teams in the Premier League. Let's not forget that. Let's not rewrite.
Did he do any recruitment?
Forget
No.
recruitment.
Yeah.
He inherited one of the best teams in the Premier League. Without him, they finished where they finished last season.
Okay, so
He
our
came in.
players on paper are equally good to Liverpool's team in value.
I don't agree with that statement. Because our players don't
wait,
play with
what-
the
what-
same
do-
intensity
do we
we
buy-
can
do we
count
buy-
as the Liverpool team.
Do we buy players to play in Championship?
No, but
Division One?
that's different. You see, because Liverpool players have been delivering for the last how many years under Jurgen Klopp. Our players, the ones who've been here, the most
I
expensive
am
ones,
taking a step
have
out
not.
of being romanticizing the whole thing. I'm looking at it from a 360 perspective, and you can agree that this ain't working, Mark. This style of play ain't working. We agreed on that. The 4-3-4-2 doesn't work. I mean, the 4-2-3 doesn't work. If you keep sticking to that, you're going to lose games because players look disengaged. They don't have creativity. They don't look like they're enjoying
We
themselves.
only played a 4-2-3-1 twice this season, Mick, and it's strange. Only played it twice this season.
Okay.
And that was.
But if you're being
and one
realistic,
game we
then
won
if you're being
7-0.
realist,
The other
if you're
game
being,
we drew 3-3. The
if
other
you're being
game,
a
the other games
realist,
we played 4-3-3. All the other games.
if you're being a realist, put yourself in the business perspective. Do you think they're going to accept this, or do you think they're going to cut the trigger at the end of the
They
day?
said
if it
4
keeps
years
losing like-
they plan to win in 2028. I think they have more patience than the fan base at this point. They just invested all this money into this manager. They bring him as coaching staff that he handpicked. Just remember this. They brought him up coaching staff he handpicked, right? And they bought him the players he wanted. If they're not going to give him at least 6 months, they're going to give him the season. I don't think they're going to do any less than that. That's just me. Because I would not invest in a project and not give the project 6 months to a year to see where it goes. That's just me.
On the other hand, we got to be sensible to say the Man United job, coaching job, is the most fucking hardest job in the world as a coach. You got to agree. Because the instant you walk in, you have the press. You have the fan base, the pressure, the history, the winning. Now, I understand from a fan point perspective that we are getting very impatient. We want to win shit because we haven't won anything for 11 years. We remember how we used to be. Yeah? True?
But in terms of 2024.
Yeah, but if you want to play a brand of style of football, I'm confused right now. What are we? Are we possession-based football? We're not even that. I mean, we are starting to win possessions.
Look at Maresca at Chelsea.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Chelsea.
He walked into.
Chelsea have 40 players in their squad that I would argue their squad costs more than our squad because 3 of their players alone cost £300 million.
Right? Yeah, but money doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said, bro, you can't say 10 Hag spend 600 million and Enzo Maresca's squad is worth more than that. right? And
But he's
not
getting
expect.
a tune out of him in 5-6 weeks.
Bro, he have
Yeah.
40 players to get a tune out of, bro. They're already competing to see who can make the 25-man squad, bro.
Yeah,
And all of
but it
them
comes
on the
down to
average
a
same
final
age.
point, guys. We got to wrap up the stream. I just appreciate it. It comes down to the final point, which comes down to their team selection, and I think this is a big topic, guys. At the end of the day, play your best players, right? Don't play. I agree. We haven't seen the best starting 11 as of yet, but it doesn't make any sense, because every time we sit here and trying to do a preview, who's going to start. Normally you go in and pick Liverpool team. You know exactly who's going to start, right? But we don't know, and I don't think he knows either. And I think that we are shoehorning players in out of position again. We went to the transfer market to get these DCDM. He played him once and then he didn't play him again. He's starting Rashford and shoehorns in Garnacho to the right, while Ahmad is the right winger, right? In terms of play your best players, I said scrap the 4-2-3-1 and just go 4-3-3 compact, right? And play creativity. You can still tweak this around. This is my opinion, right? By playing a traditional number 6 in Ugarte and have 2 technical players above, right? Kobe Mainoo can do the job as number 8. You can also have Eriksen as a number 10. But instantly you get creativity and the service to the striker as well, Team selection as well, we don't have a proper left back as well. And I think that Dego Lalo has been dog shit lately. Out of position as well.
Yeah, but Liverpool don't have a CDM. So this concept that Luke Shaw's going to come in, we can have fucking Roberto Carlos come in. It's not going to... This team is set up all wrong. There's spaces everywhere. It's not going to change. It's not changed. One left back is not going to... Amrabat was the answer.
It's
then it
the
was
shape,
Ugarte.
the formation.
Amrabat was never the
gonna
answer,
change.
bro.
I think football should be very easy. I mean, I think right now there's too many processes, too many instructions that they forget. They totally get a brain freeze. That's what I think that is happening right now. That's my honest assessment. And they're too afraid to make mistakes. And when you're too afraid to make a mistake, you make mistake. You know what I mean? We have Royden Frost coming in as well. Big up, Royden. How you doing?
Hey, I've been listening to you guys at first. My question, my response to Ed Bilal. Bilal, what is the height of insanity? Bumping your head the same time. Replacing a manager every 3 years is the height of insanity. Am I right or am I wrong?
Not really.
If we replace Erik ten Hag, we fall another year behind. Man City, our Arsenal, Liverpool. There's already progress we've seen. We are conceding less shots on target than last season. We are creating more big chances. I think we're second or third in the league for missed big chances. Then that's last year, right? The thing that's costing us are silly mistakes that can be fixed, but it needs cohesion and it's going to take time. That we've brought in the spine of the team, two new CBDs, a new CDM, right? With Xerxes as well. They need time and cohesion to get to know each other, and then it will click. Everything takes time. Everybody goes on about Erik ten Hag this, Erik ten Hag that. We forget Sir Alex Ferguson's first 5 seasons, 11th, 2nd, 11th, 13th, 6th. The rest is history. There's a process. Rome isn't built in 1 day. Rome isn't built in 2 days. Rome isn't built in 3 days. We can replace Erik ten Hag, but then at Southgate or Potter, Bilal, who do you want? Southgate and Potter?
Firstly, look, I understand your point, right? I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying to an extent. What I'm saying is the point where fans are saying we can't keep repeating the process. We're not repeating the process because this time we'll be changing a manager with footballing people in charge. Number 2 is we're repeating the same mistakes with spaces, the setup. When you're saying errors and cohesion, we're playing players that consistently are making errors, which is then leading to us either losing. And lastly, it's a results-based business. We can be on top of the league for taking shots, for headers, The bottom line is we're in the bottom half. We're more closer to relegation, and we've got a tougher fixture list after the international break. And
Okay,
I do
Bilal,
not see anything in his setup or his game.
Bilal,
Right, and
to
let
give
him
me
go.
any
let me
confidence.
ask you. Let me
Let him
ask
go,
you
right.
this
Let him
question.
finish. Let him
Right.
finish this, right.
You watched the Liverpool game, right?
Yeah.
Xerxes got 2 headers, right? Allison stopped both those headers. An inch to the left, 2 goals. Just like that. That game changes like that. Rashford tried to curl it around. What happened? It hit the post. That's 3-3. That's 3-3. Those are just minor tweaks, but it's not going to happen over time. Not going to happen quickly. It's going to take time. A results-based business, you don't get results unless you follow the process.
So
Results
how much
come from
time
a
would you give
process.
him?
I would say give him the season. He should actually get a reset because Ineos is a new structure. Ineos has only been in for 3 months.
No,
So he needs
I
to
buy that. I buy that, and then I buy everyone's point of view. But what I'm trying to say here, I don't think fans will have patience to give until the end of the season if these
Mick,
results continue.
I mean,
Fans need
Arsenal
to
was
get-
I
asking
fans need
agree.
to-
Can I just can I finish respectfully as well?
Yeah.
Because I agree what you're saying. And I agree also what Bilal is saying, because football is a result business. It's not about looking at how we are progressing in style of play. When you have unbalanced, the fix is so simple. You have already the squad that you can work with. The question is, how are you going to tune and get the best out of them to play them in the right position, the right system, instead of scrapping the definition of insanity? The mad professor is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. So the question is, in change management, if you are a manager in business and your manager say you got to get the best out of your peers, you have a review, right? Okay, this is what I'm going to give you: KPIs, key performance index. This is what I want you to improve. If you're not following the manager's order, your boss's order, you're going to get sacked. Simple as
Yes,
that.
but Mick,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Mick,
but Mick,
a
I don't
boss
think
is
it
not
work
going
like
to
that,
expect
bro.
results straight away. A boss will also know results are not going to just change like that, man. I mean, in the banking sector when I worked, I was given a lot of performance reviews, but they understood it took 1 to 2 years, maybe 3 years to get those results. Don't forget that too. So, in my opinion, fans need to look at this in this scenario. Yes, we've had 2 years. Our second year was riddled with injuries. We all know that the difference between 8th and 4th was 12 points. If we didn't have all our injuries, we would have been top 4 last season. Yeah, Bilal, we would have been top 4, Bilal.
Only same amount
Bilal,
of
we
points
would
as
have been
Chelsea.
top
They
4.
beat us by
You
goal
saw the
difference.
Man City game. Eric Ten Hag said, if I get my players back, I will beat teams. He beat Man City. Our biggest issue last season was our defense. That was one of our big issues, conceding shots.
Yeah.
If we had our starting, if we had Shaw, Varane, Martinez, and Dalot for 80% of the season last year, we would have been top 4. Then I can bet you, I will put £1,000 on that. £1,000 I will put on that.
Mick will double it to 2.
I just
yes.
don't. I don't listen. I don't put my emotions into this. I'm putting the logical, right? I put the reasoning behind everything.
Yeah, but
Ten
playing
Hag
out
took
of
a
logic and
fucking roidal
emotions and
choice.
all of those things. The reality is the team to improve need
But
time.
listen,
We've
here's
only
another thing
played 8
Mick
games.
say, and people
I hear the notion.
People-
I hear the consent, but what I'm taking in consideration is the overall fan base, is the overall media, is the overall perception. They're not going to have the patience and time to give him time, because you know how it's going to work. We've seen the script before, right? So that's why I'm coming back to Bilal to say also, it is a results business. I don't care how you play. I want 3 points. Yesterday was important, 3 points. Villa, if he doesn't get 3 points, I don't want to be in this room, to be honest.
Can I just add something just small, just to kind of balance it out? I think fans would give him patience, would be patient with him if they saw an element of improvement game by game. And I
But
think
Bilal,
because fans are
there
not
is
seeing
improvement.
that, it doesn't
There is
help.
improvement.
What is
Possession,
improvement game by
possession.
game, though?
Is it
You must be
improvement?
watching different teams then.
No.
Hmm.
Go look at the possession stats. We've got more possession than last season. more big chances created.
Stats can
Let's
be
not
look.
concede.
Stats can back up any point. Watch the game with the naked eye.
The
and
treble is a stat.
it's fucking
Exactly,
Treble is a stat.
exactly what
The
Bilal
treble
Alright.
is a
said
stat.
there.
Let
Is that
me
a
just let me be as real
Is that
as
a lie?
possible.
This is why it makes no sense to ask what is the improvement.
The
Bilal.
treble is a stat.
Because
Is that
if
a
you
lie?
tell Bilal the improvement, like if he just said the improvement, you would say the stats is not accurate.
Stats help us.
You know, it's
help
not
correct
representing
what the
anything.
eye
So for
doesn't see
me,
in an
if
unbiased
I
way.
look at the game as a
Understand?
fan, we have been playing better. I mean, I went to the games this season.
I love this
flew
debate.
2 planes
Look.
to get a game this season, if you understand what I'm saying. And I just say
Football.
to you that I've seen better performances than what I've seen last season. The problem is we're not scoring goals. And the fact that we're not scoring goals is not the manager's fault, because the system putting players in positions to score goals. The player who get in the position not finishing.
But the manager
This
always
is-
pays, right?
This is why, listen, guys, this is why I created this podcast. It's devil's advocate. Like football, Royden, I agree what you're saying. Bilal, I agree what you're saying. Mark, I agree what you're saying. Football is a very simple game. Very simple game. You don't have to overcomplicate it. What is the purpose of a football game?
To win matches.
Yes. Okay. So you can start talking about possession stats and everything. I mean, fucking shit. Because end of the day, 3 points is what matters, is how you win the games, right? So we know that we are currently building a rocket, right? And we're going to fly it all the way to the moon, right? It's a very simple straight line. It's from point A to point B. How you get there is down to Ineos and Erik ten Hag, right? You got to look at lean. Okay, maybe Bilal is too heavy. Let's throw him out the rocket. Maybe we come there faster. You know what I mean? But it's
Royden's too heavy.
yeah, or Royden. You know, it's very simple. But it's how you sort of realization. Where did I go wrong in that game? How can I fix it? The diagnostics. But if you don't fix it, you're facing the same problems. And this is why I'm trying to say that I can't get in my head that he's still stubborn and adamant that he will continue on the same path. But it's the ship is going to crash in the sun eventually, the way it's going right now. But you guys are saying, well, trust this, trust that. But the evidence is there.
The evidence, is not
Mick,
really.
if I could just say something quickly, I've got to go in 2 minutes.
Before you go,
We can look at this Porto side. Is a good team, right? Last year, they beat Arsenal 1-0 in Porto. In Porto, they beat Arsenal. They've got a better striker now than they had last season. Yesterday, when we got the red card, we could have just given up and just said, game over. But we fought. We fought for the draw. And that is already starting. That's something that Erik ten Hag is starting to put in.
All right. Well, Bilal left the studio because he had to go. Bilal left the studio because he had to go. Big up Royden as well. We are just about to wrap up the stream.
I agree that we're not getting the results. I would say is a result-based business, right? But here's what I do agree, right? Because some fans last season we were getting results, but it was not good results because we looked like we were scumbag in games. And you know what they were saying? You know what everybody said? We want a style of play. If we get a style of play, even if we draw, we will take it. Now we getting a style of play. And now the problem is we drawing, we're not winning. We lost 2 games, but we get a style of play.
But it comes down to teams.
But you see, we can't always look at the other teams, Mick. And this is the problem.
I'm not saying I'm not looking at other teams, Mark. I hear what you're saying. I see everything from 360 perspective, from a holistic perspective. It comes down to all the points that we discussed. The team selection is wrong. We have an unbalanced squad at the moment. On paper, what I'm saying, we have a good squad. But how can you fine-tune this to be a winning Ferrari? To go laps after laps, like Abu Dhabi race and winning. At the moment, who is responsible? Well, hang on a second. You've been given all the tools. You've been, all you have to do now is coach and manage this team.
Well, I mean, it takes time. It's football. Like you cannot just coach and tell the fellas like, hey, kick the ball left, don't kick it right, kick it forward, kick it thing, and they go out and do it, and boom, game done. They're not playing against people who standing still, and these players have to learn. It's trial and error. You cannot tweak anything without seeing how it works. When you make a change, they had to go and implement that. And then if you change you make work, then you keep going, you keep tweaking and adding and adjusting the game. And the most important thing, Simpson saying it right here. but rather said we want to compete in 2028. We would like to win the league. We'd like to be competing to win the league, which means they're not wanting to see. They're not wanting the manager to win this season or next season, but they want to see something
I want
give
to
them
win
the
the league
impression
tomorrow.
that we could get there. But
I am being deluded.
The problem is we're not giving the manager and the players. Most importantly, is our manager and players.
Listen, I grew up on the Fergie area. I've seen the best of United. I've seen the winning ways, all the trophies. I have standards. It's instilled in me. I cannot sit here and watch this dross and crap. I'm sorry, right? And I cannot sit and accept what Barada say here. Should we sit and wait another 8 years for another trophy?
4 years? No, you're not saying that. But you see, the problem is, I think everybody taking it too liberally, too literally. It's like, realism is the fact that we are Manchester United, which is that old Rolls Royce from 2000, and Man City is the brand new 2024 Phantom. And in order for us to get that Rolls Royce back to that level, we have to. It's going to take some time.
Realism is when you realize. Realism is where you realize you don't romanticize certain things, and I do understand the notion of back the team, back the manager. But realism is also that you need to pick. Okay, you have a squad. You got to make up your mind and don't fall for the pressure. Don't just because it's Marcus Rashford, just don't play him because it's Marcus Rashford. Go be fearful as a manager. Show some bollocks at least. No,
when
let me finish.
He does that, the fans complain. No matter what he does, we complain. I don't understand.
Listen,
we are the ones who forcing him into this.
I'm going to finish up to say the way he can turn this around, because there's two components that's very important, right? It's if you lose the fans, you lose the whole shit, right? If you lose your players, you lose the dressing room, right? So if that is gone, that is gone. If you see that players are right now disconnected and don't understand, they're confused, you're going to lose them at the end of the day. Fans are starting already to lose the shit, right? That's the thing.
It will happen.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, how you can turn this around, if you're Erik ten Hag, is to say, well, look, I got to sort of look myself in the mirror and realize that what I'm doing now for the past 3 years is not working. I need to evolve as well, because self-development is all about to take a step out to yourself, to see everything from a 360 perspective and say, well, hang on, this ain't working. Let me screw that a little bit, tweak. Cool, I fixed the problem. As I said again, you took your car to the garage, they gave you a diagnosis. Here's exactly what's wrong with you, Mark. Fix this and you'll be fine. Cool, right? But for me, it doesn't look like he's trying to. He's still stubborn to say, and I will still continue my path, right? So my point is, how you can change this to win the fans back is to do simple tweaks, right? At the end of the day, we're just fans. We are not the one. We are not picking the team. We are not that. But we're here for a debate and express our feelings and emotions, right?
So then, therefore, it's like, for me, this is why I cannot say prospectively that he's not doing these things. We cannot say that he's not paying attention to the diagnostics, because we are not in team training. We don't know what is happening behind closed doors.
And guys, at the same time,
this is why I will say, Mick, yes, he needs to do better. I agree. He needs to make some better decisions in game. I agree. Sometimes the selection for the match, the starting 11 needs to be better. I agree. I agree with all those things. But I cannot agree when somebody says his tactics, his setup is rubbish. The starting 11 he always picks is always wrong. I can't say that, because there again we have proof. This team went 2-0 up last night against a Porto team that's undefeated in the La Liga, in the Premier Liga this season. They are the team in form currently in Portugal, and they're averaging like 3 or 4 goals a game. The first game they lost this season was to Bodo Glimt. It's a 10-man Bodo Glimt the week before, right? So while we're saying that, we could still say that Porto is not a good team, bro. They are more European heritage than the majority of the Premier League. Even Man City don't have heritage like them. So for me, we got to keep it real. There are good teams that we will play that could beat us. We should beat them, but they could also beat us. This is not the Manchester United of old. This is our Manchester United as a work in progress. And while I will still say I think we need to be doing a lot better than we're doing now, I have seen consistent improvements in the defending, in the patterns of play, in the
Me too.
chance creation. But did
I've
you see,
seen
this
too.
is why I keep highlighting the strikers and attackers, Mick. They are young players. Ahmad is only 22. Garnacho is 19. Hoyland 21. You know, these guys, we want them to do their best. We want them to score every chance they get. Of course.
Again, this
But
is your self-awareness.
Rashford,
I mean,
to step up and be that guy, to cover them. If Rashford could step up like a shield ahead of all these youngsters with him in attack and be the one to score every
that's the
game.
whole point. What I'm saying, it's the self-awareness. If you're aware that certain things are working, be the captain, El Capitano, put him on the side, give him fucking bollocks, give the team bollocks, stand on this side, be the conductor, you know, Napoleon, right? You're not going to win. No, listen, you're not going to win the war if you're sitting passively and just observe and being introverted. No, the power of self-awareness is unbeatable, and Ten Hag doesn't seem to have that. The thing is, that comes down to, if you want to be successful, you have to have the power to change yourself. Like, you have your competencies, your traits, your driver. You're born with either you're dyslexic or you're introverted. There's nothing you can do about it. But there's certain things you can improve with yourself, right? Because there's no doubt in my mind that he wants to win. He's a winner. He wants to be successful. That's why he's in this job, right? But all I'm saying right now, your self-awareness, you cannot sit here and tell me that what you've been watching right here is good enough with those standards. You want us to play.
And this is the problem, Mick, because you see, we thinking, and this is just me, right? Just trying to be fair on the whole judgment situation, because I cannot sit here and say he have no self-awareness. But you cannot sit here and tell me we watching players make mistakes and expect our manager to predict that. That is insane, because none of us could predict that Eriksen was going to let our man just take the ball off his foot and shoot and score against Bodo Glimt, when all he had to do was kick the ball out. You know what I mean?
Well, you and me, we said
you can't predict some of the mistakes. If you look at some of the instances where we conceded, we have been punished from little acute mistakes, not really system mistakes, individual errors from multiple different players. Christian Eriksen, Licha Martinez, Marcus Rashford, Garnacho, Dalot, even Mazarawi. The problem is that with all of those things considered, we still need to figure out why it is the guys who getting in the chances up front, not burying them.
It comes down to set the game plan, to set the system, to set the tactics, right? And they told Dalot to cut it, to play high up, to cut into the midfield.
Even so, Dalot does run back and defend. You can't keep making excuses for players who just make a mistake. The players are not working like robots. They're not running off a programming like a computer.
At the end of the day, what I want to finish off to say that, if you sack Ten Hag right now, there is no manager out there that can do something different. It ain't the right time, in my opinion, because yes, if you were in Liverpool, you can sack Slot and just put in anyone in there, because they already developed for 8 years. They already have an identity. They already have a footballing operation, everything. We're just starting. So that's coming back to give you a point. My point is, how can Ten Hag improve, and how can he turn this around? If he continues the same path, he's steering the ship towards the iceberg. Simple as that, right? And this is the point where I'm saying you got to be self-aware to say that, hang on a second, Mick, this is not working what you're doing now. Maybe I should tweak it around, change the graphics here a little bit. Maybe you get more views, right? It's kind of an analogy. So I don't want to see the manager being sacked, but I don't want to sit here and watch this dross happening in front of my eyes either, because it hasn't been easy for mental health either, right? You feel me, right?
I could understand what you mean, but I can't say I feel it yet, because I don't really have issues with that, bro. I kind of real super optimistic, positive. So
I'm looking from a fan perspective. Let me say, people that spent money to go to Porto to watch that and had to travel back again, right? Football is escapism. Football is for you to enjoy. You tune in every week because you believe in the brand. If you go to a store, let's say Lidl, you're going to buy tea. What do you choose, Tetley or Twinings? You choose Twinings because that's your flavor, that's your cup of tea, and you really enjoy, watching the tea. But right now, you drink that tea and you feel the bitterness of that, the sourness, and what's wrong with this tea, right? This is what I'm trying to explain. Now, at the end of the day, you want to drink that sweet Twinings, and it will taste good every single time you drink it. Right now, we're not getting it. Right. Last time I was happy under Erik ten Hag was his first season when we went on a winning streak and winning bike. We looked unstoppable. Then last season was an absolutely disaster because of the injuries. But now we have the right players. We bought right. We got shipped off some dead woods. Of course, you can't do everything in one summer. And still, you know, registered 2 wins in the Premier League. It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
I mean, it's only 7 games, Mick, and this is the problem. This is why I think the fans should calm down a little bit, take a deep breath, you know, maybe have a glass of brandy, you know, drink some juice, you know, go have lunch with the family, hugs and kisses, go to a fair, you know, watch a movie. I think it's too soon. I think the media, I think a lot of the reason why we are so hard pressed in this moment is because of the constant media barrage on our manager and our team.
True.
Everything is about Manchester United. Sack Ten Hag since like 18, I wouldn't lie, about 13 months now, they've been on the Ten Hag sacking train. Since last season, they've been trying to sack Ten Hag every living week. And it's a lot of pressure. Everything in the news is always about some new story. Some of these stories have been recycled 3 times every 3 months. You know, every 3 months they bring the same story back again. It's interesting.
According from Ridwan comes in here, he provided this couple of minutes ago. Actually, I think it was 20 minutes ago. It comes from Adam Crafton. New Man United Executive Committee to meet in London on Tuesday within 48 hours of Aston Villa game.
Yeah, but this is old. Today is Friday.
Yeah. But listen, whatever happens, happens. I back this team. I want this team to be successful, and I want him to be successful. No doubt about it, right? I don't see anyone that can come in and do a job. I don't think so. But at the same time, I'm curious. Hear me out. I'm curious to see if this happens and that manager that comes in get a tune out of these players. If you want manager, then the proof will be in the pudding.
If you want then you will know if it's we go get that because Mix we've been getting.
But no, forget about the manager. What if it's consistent? Like
it has never been. We've said that.
Hear me out.
The fifth time we saying this, Mick. You know that, right? You remember that? Right?
No, but hear me out. Hear me out. I hear what you're saying, but I'm just playing the devil's advocate. What if we get a new manager in now and it goes well? You said new manager bounce, but I'm curious a little way to see that if it continues the next year and the year after, only then you can know that the proof within the pudding and all these arguments, what we would say will be proven or not proven. At the end of the day, we ain't the Ineos, we're not the ones picking the team, but we have the right to, as a fans, to debate and express our opinions. You know, no matter if I agree with you or disagree. But that's called a debate, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it's a situation. I think it's one of those things where, you know, it's a lot. We went through a lot of change. We have a lot to keep changing. We have a lot to grow because we have high standards. We want to change and still remain in the top. You know, we want to overhaul the squad and still compete in the top half of the table as well. I think that's high standards enough. I mean, while I will still say that, you know, it's too soon for us to be talking about sacking Ten Hag for any reason. I think he should be given until Christmas, basic. Anything else after that is depend on that performance.
My personal opinion is just he needs to do a little bit of tweaks. It's just
well, I agree with the tweaks but you see, what I will say about the tweaks is we still don't know what our best 11 is. I think that's fair. I think because we brought in 4 players this summer, 5, one of them injured, so we're not counting Euro for now. But
that's very unfortunate.
Out of those 4, I think at least 3 of them would be nailed on starters time Christmas. So therefore that means 3 players in our squad will be replaced. So then
realistically speaking, and my friend, it's too early to cry wolf. I agree with you. You know, we can look at the Premier League table come April, 100%. But personally, what Rashmano, I agree with what Rashmano is saying. I also think that the players don't believe in the manager's tactics of playing Dalot worked for the odd game. But most, what did happen to that comment? Hang on a second. I want to bring that back. For the odd game, but most teams work this out. We need a plan B, and Ugarte is a high press ball winner. So that's the thing. Like, there's no plan B, plan C. Like, this is just one way or the highway. That's it. Like, you know, and That is my concern. And that's why I'm talking about the tweaks. And that's why I'm seeing the players on the pitch looks confused and they don't really enjoying it.
I don't think they look confused. I think more so they look like they're trying to do things, but they're making mistakes. Because when we look at the game against Tottenham, you know, I think we started poorly. I think the problem was because we were trying to do some things, but maybe we weren't taking our time.
Yeah.
And
anyway,
a lot of the passes were getting intercepted. It's a weird one, Mick. I mean, like at the end of the day,
it's a weird one.
Would think that, you know, he should be sacked or whatnot.
No, I started this stream to say I'm sponsored by www.confused.com because I'm very confused at the moment. I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know what I'm feeling, but I certainly don't feel any joy. Yesterday, I wasn't even enjoying watching the game, to be honest, to be fair, you know. And it's kind of a warning red flag when you're feeling already defeated deflated in the beginning of the season. Usually you get this feeling when you come in April or May when players are down tooling, but it looks like already we're playing like, you know, come April, May already. And I want this to be turned around. I want to be happy again, Mark. I want to be like enjoying. But right now, me personally, I'm not enjoying it. I'm feeling super stressed over it.
I mean, I haven't been enjoying it, to be fair, but not really because of the team. I think I've never was a fan of how somebody we just, you know, talk about the players, and especially how some people just talk about the manager online. You know, I don't really like that. I think the fan base, we need to fix up on that part. I think we need to be a little bit nicer to them because at the end of the day, they are our players, they are our manager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is, we think they're foolish, we think they're not good enough or whatever, we could still keep it classy because United is a classy football club. And to be fair, if we say he looks out of his depth, tell me what you know, the last manager to come to United and play 2 cup finals in the same season, finished third with the team that we had, only Jose. You know what I mean? They don't have much managers.
Only time would tell. Listen,
I mean?
only time. I'm doing like that Pink Floyd
song. Weird one.
Yeah, it's like that Pink, you know, I wish you were here. Like an only time would tell if it's heaven or hell, blue skies or rain.
Exactly.
Blue skies are pain. As how I wish you were here, the old United. Big up for Flying Pig United. Send me just a message on Telegram. Big up. Yeah. Big up, mate. Yeah, we will have you on soon, mate. I sent him a link to come on today as well, but he's like, I can't. So anyway, Joe from Flying Pig United, we're looking forward to do a show with you. But he's also turned his head as well. He's losing his shit. Lots of people are turning the shit. I still remain in the doubt category because I putting pressure on the manager and on the team and on the club because they can do better. We deserve better as fans as well, Mark.
I mean, we didn't empty Old Trafford to get the Glazers out, but we got empty Old Trafford to get Ten Hag out. That makes lots of sense.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Listen, we're playing Villa away. We just played a game yesterday. We will have a training session tomorrow. Rotation was key for him. I am not feeling confident, but at the same time, we did well against Villa last year as well. But Villa is looking on form. They've been doing smart recruitment. There's one striker that I really like, and that is no other than who? Duran is so good. I like Duran.
Yeah, I actually think Duran is a good striker, you know, for what it's worth. I think he's a decent player. You know, of course, he's from my neck of the woods, playing for Costa Rica. I believe it's Costa Rica. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that is interesting to see him perform well. You know what I mean? Always good to see a boy from CONCACAF do well in the Premier League like that. I don't think it's a big deal. I think, you know, they they pose the same threat that we faced against Porto in the last game we played. So I think we had to warm up to that game. I don't think Watkins is scary. He's not a prolific striker. He misses more chances than he takes. And to be fair, I think it's all in our head. I think we can go there and actually beat.
Yeah, but the thing is, I give Unai Emery his flowers because Unai Emery is the most underrated coach. What he's done, and I know that Arsenal fans are laughing, but I think Unai Emery is a fantastic coach, to be honest, right?
When he has no pressure to deal with, of course, he's a fantastic
He doesn't have the pressure. If Unai Emery comes to United, he will absolutely feel the same pressure. Every manager comes to United will shit
get
the pants.
relegated, probably.
You know, you got to have balls of steel. Guys, we're just gonna end the poll as well because it's all about you. It's all about your engagement. But I'm going to ask Mark because I put a polling question, and the question was, Is it time for Ten Hag to go? What do you think the result is?
I think it's probably 60-40. You know, the last couple games probably would have a lot of people feeling like, you know, it's about that time.
You're sneaky, you're cheeky, you have that.
No,
yes,
bro. I don't have to look at it to know, bro. Like I just read the chat the entire time. So from reading the chat, most of the people in chat are a little upset.
Actually, John Duran is Colombian.
Still from my neck of the woods, even closer.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you're absolutely right. The
name a trophy, everyone other than a cup called, you know, the Europa that everyone says is a small
ending the poll because the question was, and 60% was, it's time for Ten Hag to go. What the viewers were voting, and 40 was saying no. And at the end of the day, I'm not the one calling the shots. I'm not the one saying he's in and out. I'm repeating myself. I refuse to be that person to scream and shout, Ten Hag out, you're a fraud. No, we're here on this channel to have a level-headed debate. You know,
I just wanted to ask you guys, if Ten Hag was to park the bus to beat teams like Man City and you know, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, when we play against teams like that, like Arsenal, we park the bus. Would you all like that? Because that's what Emery does. Emery played a back five against Bayern Munich. A back five.
Big up Richie from United TV, man. How you doing? How you doing? Everyone, we're coming to the end of the stream. But listen, I really enjoy this debate because this is what the show is all about. The purpose of the show is to have different opinions, to play the devil's advocate, you know. We are going through a very tough time emotionally as fans. I'm not going to be blinded by the light and be affected because my mental health is also taking a toll, really. And I haven't really enjoyed watching United play the last couple of games, and of course I just want to be happy. You know, the way I can be happy is to see, like, you know, a little bit tweaks that he's actually taking some in consideration, that he's done, like, you know, the diagnostics, like in a post-match reviews, and to say, look, this ain't working, let me tweak this, because I want us to go to Villa and smash them. I want to have a result, right? Because at the end of the day, football is a result business, and this is what makes me happy, right? If we lose, God, we soak for a couple of days and then we get giddy again and then we play again. But right now, I just don't feel it. I just don't feel confident. You know, there's something missing, right? There is something broken. And when something is broken, it's really hard to pinpoint what is it to fix. So therefore, as a therapy session, it's so good to sit and talk to everyone, have your opinion. If you're watching a retrospective, guys, leave your comment in the non-live as well, what you think needs to be fixed. And at the end of the day, like, you know, we're just consumers of the game, Mark. So thank you so much, Mark, as well, for coming in. It's been a hot minute. Thank you, Bilal, as well, for coming in. Thank you. Also,
you have to have a lot of more M&M streams this week coming up. Maybe at a new time.
Listen, I'm not going to apologize, but, you know, I haven't done much streaming lately on my platform either because, I've been going through some tough times. I'm, you know, burned out, like, you know, fatigue. And when you have fatigue, you want to do it, but then when you get to it, you just, no, I just want to lay down. You know what I mean? So, so after this stream, I'll feel very heavy. And all I want to do is to watch a game of football, like just to be a fan, without thinking of doing a post match. So yeah, yesterday I really enjoyed doing the watch along stream and interacting with people. But at the end of the day, like, what really makes me happy as an escapism is watch United play. Win, lose, draw, right? But of course, euphoria, the dopamine when we win games, it's priceless. It's priceless. It's been a good stream anyway, and just want to thank you, everyone. We see you back on Sunday, I guess, if we're not doing anything tomorrow, Mark.
Yeah, of course. You know, we'll be doing the watch along Sunday. Oh, not too sure if I'll be in the watch along Sunday, guys, because, you know, I might not be home, but if I am, definitely will be there. Definitely.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, what can we say? Watching United is a mixed bag of everything. It's like a twosome, isn't it?
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
And all we can do is just be positive, people. I hope you really enjoyed the stream, guys. And we are back. We are back. Until then, guys, see you till next time. Glory, glory, Man United. And please, Mark, go follow Mark's channel as well. He's on a path for how many subs, Mark?
2,000. I'm on 12. And I'm 1,200 plus subs, hitting on the road to 2K.
Yeah, people, this has been the first episode of the Devil's Advocate. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.
Thank you.